Right now on Full Custom Garage, Master Metal Man Ian Roussel transforms a 1955 Oldsmobile.
This is a beat-up old four-door. When most people look at it, they'd probably trash it. All I see is potential.
As the project moves forward, Ian's wild vision doesn't sit well with his conservative clients.
All of a sudden, the windshield's cut off and the top's cut off. What are we going to end up with here?
With some tricks up his sleeve, Ian's got to get down and make it happen.
Bill's initial idea was to just primer and move this thing, but I'm going all the way. The whole thing about 50s customs is the style, the flow of it, the silhouette. It's really an artistic thing. What most people are trying to do with these cars is make them look better than stock. Everybody has their opinion, and that's why no two cars are alike. I think the whole lead sled custom car scene pushed the fabricator in crazy directions. You know, I take a lot of inspiration from all the stuff that was going on in the 40s and 50s. I've done quite a few 50s customs. I love the amount of modifications that go into these lead sleds. Studying them has really been the impetus behind my metal forming. It's like seeing a car that's been fully chopped up and reassembled. That's pretty cool. We're over here at my friend Bill's. He says he's got a project car, 55 Olds. He said it ran down a hill and got damaged somehow. Bill said that he wants to put the car together, make it sellable. I guess he's having trouble moving it, and he doesn't want to scrap it.
My son actually bought this car and was going to do something with it, and of course never did. And it sat around here and sat around, and then tried to sell it and couldn't get anything for it. And then I said, let's get Ian involved. He's got good ideas, see what he says.
As I understand, Bill's son abandoned the car on the side of the barn. Apparently there was no wheel chocks put on the thing. During a rainstorm, I guess the thing loosened up and cruised down the hill on its own. The car itself looked pretty darn straight. Unfortunately, the tree really did the bumper some damage.
Hey Ian, how are you?
I was doing good until I saw this pile.
You don't think you can salvage my mistake?
I wish you would have called me a couple months ago before it hit this tree. It doesn't look all that bad. It does have some cool parts intact. Yeah. And you have the front glass, you said? It's just out?
We do. Yeah,
that's a big plus. As long as it has the factory curved glass, that's a good thing. It's just too bad that front bumper got hit. We're gonna have to find another one, and that's gonna prove to be a challenge.
Well, I've seen your magic before.
Yeah, you know I can cut them up. So it's the typical story of somebody's project dream car that just got in over their head.
Yes, it is. And you're gonna save it.
That's what I do, sir. I'm here to save the day.
I had Ian do work on previous projects, and I thought, well, with this guy's vision, let me get him up here and see what he has in mind.
I'd say to really get somebody interested in this, we gotta chop the top. If you want a custom, that's the start. It's a lot of hard work. I've already done a 55 Oldsmobile chop top.
Oh, you have?
It gets tons of attention. I guarantee you, we chop this, primer it, get the glass in, somebody's gonna take it home.
Good, good. Well, let's do it.
Yes, sir. Go grab that tractor. I got some investigating. Somebody started working on this. I bet this car runs. Mechanics are pretty straight ahead. A lot of people get started on that. The rust and the metalwork that everybody gets scared of. But I got this. So it's got all the interior parts. Sweet. It's got a bumper jack. It's Got the glass for templates. This is perfect. I always want to go big on all my builds. I want to build something crazy. For me, the challenge is to make Bill happy. This car really isn't in that bad a shape. There's a little bit of rust, no real cancer. The main problem is this front bumper, and we'll just change it out. I know I can fix the fender. I did another four-door 55 Olds where I chopped the top, I sunk the glass in it. It's a four-door, and it looks great. People love it. It's been to a bunch of car shows. I don't think Bill wants to go as far as I do with this car. I chopped another one just like it. I'm gonna bring it over here and show it to him and maybe convince him a little. People love that car. They're gonna like this one even more.
Very good.
Bill's got an idea of how he wants this car to be, and I'm trying to restrain myself, but I know what I want the car to be.
Am I going to be able to rein him in? Time will tell.
See the difference here? These are the same car, it's just this thing looks radical. It's just chopped 4 inches, and then I put airbags under it. I took the factory glass and I sunk it down into the body. See how this decklet area is bigger than on the other car?
Wider, much wider.
Yeah, so I just pushed the window in and it's the real deal. So I'm gonna try to do the same thing. Pulling the two cars up next to each other really shows how drastically low the blue car is.
The blue car is chopped too much, in my opinion. It's difficult to get in and out of. That's why I want a little more conservative than the blue one. Am I going to be able to rein him in? Time will tell.
After I checked these two out side by side, I knew what I was going to do, so it's time to just clean this up and get it in the shop. First step is always cleaning out the junk. You got a lot of wildlife in this car we gotta get rid of. I've seen a lot worse. This one's okay. Some dry timber in this vehicle. I don't think this is adequate. Do we have any bigger guns? To make it look good, you have to commit to the lines that the glass offers. Seeing that I'm changing all the proportions of the roof, I still have to try to pull it off with this glass. I'm building this car at Bill's shop. It's a really cool space. It's got tons of light, plenty of fresh air. The big drawback is the flies. It's freaking miserable. I feel like Pigpen. Plan for today is start the chop. First thing I want to do is sink the windshield into the dashboard. I'm going to use the stock front glass because it's going to save a few bucks and look really clean. The downside is I'm going to have to cut out a lot of the firewall and dashboard just to make this thing fit. What I'm going to have to accomplish is getting the window, because it's curved, it's like a three-dimensional convex shape. I need to make room for it to fall in, and then I got to trim back to it. So I think I'm gonna have to cut out this whole area right through the dashboard and all the structure where the windshield wipers and the cowl vents. The whole chop will be based off of this front windshield. If I don't get it right, then the whole thing's a mess. It's only a car. It will succumb to my will. Let's just cut this car up.
Today, when I walked in on Ian, of course, he gets a lot done quickly. He was already starting to cut the window out, and then that was going to be his template of where the roof sat. What he gets accomplished so rapidly is what's incredible. Cut that window out in, I would guess, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. And then he's moving right on to the next thing.
Look like 3 inches? I call that a 3-inch chop top. See how it followed this line straight down and it sunk in? I'm not even gonna have to cut into the doors. It's awesome. What I'm gonna do now is brace up the car because I love the way this works. We're gonna commit to a 3-inch chop in these pillars, and then I'm gonna figure out the rear window next. It's gonna be awesome.
I really like it after I see the glass in there, and I think the 3-inch chop is the right thing. I'm gonna go with it.
This is always a hassle. Big part in chopping the top is supporting the body. It's got to be real strong when you remove the roof. Bill had some rebar laying around, and I'm just using that. What I'm gonna do first is get this rear glass out of the way. It's fragile, I don't wanna mess it up. But what I wanna do is leave it in its little seal with the chrome trim, that way this shape surrounding it doesn't distort. I'm committed to the shape of the glass. I can make the metal any shape I want, but the glass is what it is, so you really have, to make it look good, you have to commit to the lines that the glass offers. Seeing that I'm changing all the proportions of the roof, I still have to try to pull it off with this glass. I'm definitely chopping the A-pillar 3 inches. I cut the B-pillar all the way off. If I do use it, it's gonna get repositioned. Either way, it's gotta be out of the way so I can get the A and C pillars fit up right.
I'm anxious to see how he leans this window.
I'm anxious also. I got everything cut out. It looks like it's ready to come off. It might still be attached, we just gotta check. It might have 1 or 2 little places. No, maybe not.
I left for a period of time and I came back and the roof is off the car and it's like, oh my gosh, we're in trouble now. You have to understand when you walk in and you see a car that was whole and all of a sudden the windshield's cut off and the top's cut off, you go, wow, what are we going to end up with here? Is this, you know, I've junked cars before. That was not what I wanted to do with this. I'm anxious to see how he leans this window.
I'm anxious also.
There's two anxious people.
I'm not sure what's gonna happen there. Get that special thing, you can't plan it. You just gotta keep trucking through and hope that it comes around. You know, this wouldn't make a half-bad windshield. Maybe I'll just turn this thing around. That's my process. I don't know where I'm going. I'm committed to the front window at this point. I know I want the back glass. I'm just winging it. This is a really critical part. I solved the windshield issue. The back window is kind of tough also. The issue is that the trunk hinge structure, it's all welded together with the back window frame. And I really want to keep the springs and everything in the stock location that hold up the trunk lid. But that seems to be becoming increasingly difficult. You'll see, I got a plan. All we have to do is take the entire car apart to chop the top. It's gonna be great. The way that I'm going through this, I've made some pretty crazy choices. I've removed a lot of metal. It's only because I want to come up with a really nice line. I don't want point A to meet point B. I want point A to meet point Z. I'll fill in the rest. The coolest thing about this is that the trunk hinges are unmodified. Before, when I did it, the glass was down inside here. But now all the springs will go back. I can just weld the supports back in place. We're in deep now. I took out the front glass just to keep it safe. I gotta put the B-pillars back in for support. I'm putting these on. I cut them 3 inches lower. It's just to hold the roof up so it doesn't crush the glass. There's no structure in the car now. I was excited to see the roof back on, see the whole look of it, but putting the front glass in, that's the sketchy part.
Ian is a fast worker and busy. I'm old and slow, and when he's putting this glass in, every time he's doing that, I'm thinking, oh, there's $500. When that breaks, that's another $500. I didn't want to do that, but that's Ian, and it all is going to turn out fine. Yeah, see what we got? Yeah, see, that fits the glass freaking perfect. That's a 3-inch chop. We set the roof back on and looked perfect. That front glass fit like it was factory, and that's what he had in mind. And I was very relieved when the glass fit that way.
Seeing the roof 3 inches lower, I know I nailed it. But standing around looking at it, it just needs something else.
I'm still a bit apprehensive about the back glass, but he did the front, he'll do the back, and life will be good.
The front glass, it fit great. Looking at this, I think it's gonna persuade Bill that this car is gonna be pretty sweet. My next effort is to square everything up, make sure it's all cool, you know, square up the back, and just tack in a bunch of braces. I'm probably gonna weld it right to the rebar so it doesn't move. Just build it. Gonna have a long day tomorrow. I love the positioning of the windshield. I knew there's a lot of sheet metal work to get that thing in. Our body worker guy just got here. Just pulling Bill out of another hole. Got himself into another trouble project here. Worked with John on a few other projects. He's been a body man his whole life. The dude knows his stuff. I feel confident to just let him go. So we were hoping you could come in from like midnight to 6 a.m. for the next few days and just body work and primer this. And we're gonna have to leave the lights off because we're on a really strict budget. So I'm gonna yank the deck lid off, the hood off. I'll probably pull this fender and the other fender too. All the work I'm doing on the roof doesn't have anything to do with this front sheet metal, so I'm gonna pull it all off and just start sanding and priming. Big relief, John showed up. I handed him off the hood, the deck lid. I'm just gonna keep feeding him parts. He's a body professional. Love the positioning of the windshield. I knew there's a lot of sheet metal work to get that thing in. I had to build this trough because the stock glass would be a pain to cut, so it was really just a hideaway for the extra glass we're not gonna see. I measured out the roof skin, set up a bunch of pillars to hold it in place, and got to welding. Clearly see how the glass is gonna land in this trough shape. Just gonna fit it up one last time and get onto the back window. This is gonna work. That is trouble. Now that I've cut it out, the whole thing is falling apart. There's been water under the trim, under the rubber. It's a complete mess. It's falling off of the glass. There was a lot of gunk and crud between the rubber and the metal, so I just tediously cleaned it all out, got it to kind of fit, put some metal straps on it just to hold it in place, and it seems like it's gonna be okay. Desperate times call for desperate measures. Actually, it's kind of cool. I might just chrome those and leave them in place. That ain't gonna work. Hardest part about getting this back glass in is making it flow into the trunk. Just taking little cuts, a little bit at a time, and just trying to fit it in. Now we're getting somewhere. My plan is to not sink the back of the glass at all. I'm just gonna sink this corner, see how it's starting to set under? What that's gonna do is as it comes in, it's gonna have this line follow through, like the hardtop. Third time putting the glass in, it fits. I'm not gonna have to do anything except one little relief cut and weld it together. It's awesome. That's the way I work through these things, is you get these small little glimpses of hope. The back glass fits. Yes. The front glass fits. Yes. That's what I'm looking forward to. All those little steps along the way.
Ian now wants to turn this into a two-door. I really don't want this to turn into a big, huge project.
If I go for two-door conversion with the chop top, this thing is solid gold. As soon as Bill told me he had a 55 Olds, I'm thinking two-door. They're worth way more money. I came up, saw the four-door, and my mind's been on the two-door conversion ever since I started. The thing that makes this car undesirable is that it's a four-door. All the two-doors are used up. They're all customized. They're great-looking cars. I'm really not happy with the B-pillar in its stock location. The chop on this car makes that issue look even worse. I've already gone this far with the chop. It's a great-looking car. I think its value has increased. If I go for two-door conversion with the chop top, this thing is solid gold.
Ian now wants to turn this into a two-door. I really don't want this to turn into a big, huge project. I said to him, if you can do it in one day, great. The car will be better as a two-door, a lot more audience for a two-door versus a four-door. So we'll see how this plays out.
There's a few options. I know I can make the doors. That's a lot of time. My other option is to try to source out a pair. Somebody has them. We just got to find them. On our way out to Riverside, California, found a guy who's got a 55 Olds. It'll be perfect for this four-door to two-door conversion I'm working on. Hopefully he's got the parts we need. Hey, Hound. Hey, man. How are you?
Good. I'm Pat.
I'm Ian.
Ian, nice to meet you.
Good to meet you, man.
All right.
So you got a 55 Olds, I guess?
Olds out there, yeah.
All right.
My name is Pat McMahon. Well, I restore classic cars here out of my house, just mainly for friends and stuff. A buddy of mine found a 55 Chevy that he really wanted real bad, and so I helped him get it. We went and picked it up and everything, and I noticed this car, so I made a deal with him on the car, and I just picked up that one too.
Right on. I think that'll work. Cool.
It was just a little too far gone, a little too far, a little too much rust, so we decided to sell some of the parts, recoup my money back, and
This looks usable. Shoot, I almost wonder if we're starting on the wrong car. This one's in good shape. Oh wait, the floors are done. Yeah, this car would be good, but look, it's got secrets. Junk. We searched around. It was pretty hard to find a two-door donor car because they're so valuable. We were able to locate it. We got out here and found exactly what we needed. He had all the parts we need. We were able to cut off the backside of the door pillar and get the two doors, and also scored a new bumper. We got what we needed. That's the good thing. Back to the cave. Oh, the sunlight's too much. Four-door to two-door conversion, it ain't easy, but I gotta do it like right now. Got the doors back to the shop. Today's the day I gotta make it happen. Four-door to two-door conversion, it ain't easy, but I gotta do it like right now. I just gotta prove to Bill that this is gonna work. Fortunately, I got the door jamb from the parts car that matches these doors. I know some of the dimensions are a little bit different, but I think I can pull it off. A couple bolts and the door fit. If this door didn't fit, I think we're going back to a four-door. I just assumed it would fit and we lucked out. Because there is no B-pillar here to support this to the roof, I have to build a very strong structure off of the floor pan so that this panel doesn't wobble around. I was checking out the quarter panels on this parts car, the two-door. I thought I might take them, but really for me it's going to be easier to put the door skins from the four-door back in place. They already fit, it's going to be easier to piece it back together and just splice in the door jamb. This is the same game as I did on the roof skin. I just marked on the outside of the B-post here. I'm gonna cut that, fit it, probably take about 16 or 18 times to get it right. These two-door doors are the right move. I got the passenger side done, it looks bitchin'. I gotta get the other side done before the end of the day, show it to Bill. Getting the roof chopped, the doors on, and the rear quarters filled in, that's like a big goal.
He did a great job. He did it in one day. I'm thrilled.
That's the most satisfying part of it, is seeing that it's gonna work, but now the real tough part comes, just finishing everything. It's still a ton of work. I was working on the back window. Bill brings in this kid to help. To help.
I've this much experience with cars.
The whole car is basically laid out. Yesterday I got the doors on. This morning and all day today are stuff you don't see. This is the non-glamorous part. It's all underneath, it's all bracing, inside, just a lot of grinding and welding all day. The main thing today is the inner structure and the sheet metal around the windows. That's pretty much going to complete the outside of the body. Got this door off. I'm gonna fix this dent real quick and get it to John so he can sand it down and get it into primer. Yeah, I got this dent pretty much out of there. It's a little wrinkled up, but John can go in with a hammer and dolly and just dial it in. I'm gonna lay in this centerpiece now that I got these two side braces in. I'll lay this in, and then I'm gonna pop all the chrome off and the glass, take it out. I'm putting the sheet metal in around the trunk area. Getting this and the trim in place is really what sells the whole chop. I was working on the back window. Bill brings in this kid to help. To help. All of a sudden I turn around and Bill's under the car with a torch.
A friend of mine's son heard Ian was working here, working on a project. He wanted him to get involved. I said, yeah, okay. Spencer's his name.
I've this much experience with cars.
We needed to remove the front bumper, and the bolts were rusty, been on there since 1955. Needed to be cut with a cutting torch. I asked him about a torch, if he had ever used one, and his comment was,
I mean, I have used a torch before, but I didn't do very well and I shot sparks into my shoes.
and I said, okay, that's enough for me. We got the torch out, coveralls, cut the bolts, bumper came off, life's good. Well, Ian would be much better at it than I am, but I can get it done.
The way the rear glass is sitting now, the chrome trip is dipping below the body. I gotta pull that off, figure out how to reattach it higher up so that it looks like it belongs. So ultimately the plan is, trim's gonna go just like that. That's what I did with the other car. So I'll build the body right up here, hide the glass, voila.
Yeah, I'd ask him a question about the way the glass lays in the back, and he was drawing it on the glass, and he said, "There's my blueprint." Well, that's a pretty darn rough blueprint.
See my blueprints here? It's very technical. My time on the USS Enterprise, galaxy far away, I did some internship on that style blueprint drawing. The height of technical ingenuity. Perfect. All right, now as soon as I get this ½ pound of potting soil out from underneath the window, I could probably get back to work. There's still 2 big holes in the car, around the windshield and around the rear glass. I gotta sheet metal that in. It's pretty tricky because the glass doesn't fit there. I have to make it look like it does, so it's pretty challenging. So with the glass out of the way, I'm just gonna grind this seam down and follow this right through. I'm gonna end up clearancing it a little bit so the glass can set on and off, but the chrome trim will hide that gap. Right now, I'm just finishing up the last few sheet metal pieces around the rear window and the windshield. Fitting in this sheet metal is gonna make the whole thing fit right. It's just gonna look like it's factory. This is the least thrilling part of the whole job. It's always the loose ends, putting things back together that is just monotonous. But this is the part that really makes the car shine. Anybody can create a silhouette, but to have all the finished pieces in place, that's what makes a real custom. I think with like a week's more work, it's gonna transform into a totally different ride.
The idea was to move it. I'm starting to fall in love with this stupid car.
This car is 50 or 60 years old. Every panel's been bumped and dented and pushed at one time or another. I'm having to skim coat the whole freaking car. This car isn't gonna be show car straight, but we're putting it back, at least in a usable state. It was pretty freaking rough. This is the good stuff. It really sands easy, and the thing I like about it most is that there's very little air bubbles in it once it's mixed. Doing custom work is never easy. I picture it in my head, but in reality, it always takes 10 times longer. Pushing 36 grit sandpaper all day, it ain't easy. But look how good that stuff spreads. See what I'm talking about? I really like the body filler because the smell, the amount of hard work, you know, the dirt in general, I just feel comfortable. It's like in my element, you know?
I like it a lot. I'm anxious to see what it looks like in primer, where it's not all splotchy and you can get a better feel for what it's going to be.
In the onset of this project, Bill really just wanted to clean the car up a bit and sell it.
The car's turning out. I'm starting to fall in love with this stupid car. The idea was to move it. Well, I don't like to move it now. I think I might end up keeping this car.
I feel very secure.
on the next episode of Full Custom Garage. Ian takes the Oldsmobile all the way.
Now that we really blasted it out, I think if we throw a set of tires on it, a little bit of chrome and color, this thing is next level. Car's painted, two-tone, it looks bitchin'. Just needs a little something extra to put it over the top.
You know, the car came out so much better than I expected, and now I'm pretty excited about make this thing run, drivable.
The bottom line is this car's got to run and drive. It's a car, it's not just something you look at. We're not gonna know until we hook up a battery and put some fuel to that thing. Anything could happen. I kind of convinced Bill we could get this done in a week. There's still a lot of loose ends. You remember what the outside of the car looked like? Well, the inside of the car looks like that too. I'm starting to, I don't want to say fall in love with it, but I'm starting to get feelings. I just want to see a good result.